Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new play-by-play video. And in this video, we're playing some Thor solo for the A to Z series. And yeah, let's just kind of get to it. So I think with the T gods, we're on a bit of a win streak. So hopefully we can, bring that forward and continue on. Thor is one of my favorite characters, obviously, in the game. He's my most worshipped god on Smite 1. So I'm definitely a little bit excited to play him. I will say Thor solo in this game, despite Thor being very, very good, is honestly pretty horrible. And it's weird. They really nerfed Thor's double tap scaling on minions, and they also just increased a lot of his cooldowns so that his jungle and teamfight value are still very, very high, but his actual solo lane play is not great. I don't really recommend this guy in Smite 1 a whole lot. Smite 2, he's incredible though. Very, very fun pick nonetheless. So, although I'm saying, hey, probably don't recommend this god in solo in this game, still very fun, still has a very high amount of skill expression. And we're going to say that and completely miss our one naturally, right? But super fun character, super cool. And we start the lane into an Atlas, which is unique, but more importantly, we start the lane ahead in health, right? So we took a trade with him. We have more health pots. We have more sustain because we have Bluestone. And as a result, whatever happens in this lane is going to go okay for us. Pretty clutch blink there. Thought for a second Achilles really messed up because he didn't get the stun off, but was still able to catch it. And I think for the first time in like probably 20 games, we got an early gank. So I mean that's pretty nice. I'll definitely accept that. We dropped the solo kill, so I'm not sure if I deserved it, but won't complain too hard. And yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing whenever you're playing in a matchup like this, I have to be a little bit careful here, but if I run out, I should be fine. Yeah, I'm fine. Is we just make an effort to, trade with him. Obviously, he just TP'd back, so he's going to be healthier than us. We have an XP advantage, so we trade with him because we know we can at least a little bit, and as long as we are patient, we're actually just going to get another kill on him. And what's so important about that is, like, he just died, right? So he's got a full wave that's going to be shoving in no TP. I talk a lot about this, Smite 1, Smite 2. Whenever somebody comes back, if you can trade with them and not die, and actually get something, considerable off of them, whether it's health, mana, or a combination of the two, you should try to do that, right? So we know we're too healthy to die. We know we're going to be pretty safe. We could have went Axe for even better trades, but the point still stands, and we took advantage of that. We got a nice fight in, and we ended up actually just soloing him, but even if he lives right there, I mean, his game state is completely screwed, assuming he doesn't kill us. He had no mana, very little health. Was just in an awful, awful spot to be in. In fact, we can even look for a bit of a trade right here. Again, now obviously we know Zhang is coming, so I've got to be maybe a little bit more respectful of where he's at, but I don't know if I actually do need a care. I think I just kill him again. Yeah, he's just dead again. Okay, well, I was going to say we do need to be more respectful, but Zhang wasn't quite in range. This guy died. Did he rage quit because he died? No, good, okay. I really don't want any rage quits. I wanna get these games in their fullness and in the first take. So, death number 3 for Atlas. Even though I don't necessarily recommend this god, it doesn't mean I'm going to play bad with him. I also could have won a Runeforge right there. In fact, I should have. Not that Blackthorn's bad, but Runeforge is a bit more fun, a bit higher top end with it, and what I prefer a little bit more on this pick. But this is still totally okay. And yeah, we'll just kind of keep doing our thing. So just kind of knowing when it's good to fight, when it's not good to fight. I think what makes Thor not only one of the best characters in Smite history, period, but one of my favorite solos, and from a ranked perspective, most played character, is just the amount of skill expression he has. I think Thor, I saw it on Twitter, maybe, no, it was Reddit. This was a while ago, but I saw on Reddit that there was, I think somebody asked like AI models like what the hardest characters in MOBAs were. And I want to be like very clear, obviously that's not going to be super reliable, or even if it was like an opinion piece. I think it was like an AI ask thing, but it might have been an opinion piece, I'm not sure. But they had the top 10 characters, and it was, some Dota characters, some League of Legends characters. And they actually said, so they put Smite in there. I don't know if it meant in difficulty relative to those games or just difficulty as in it being the hardest Smite god, but they put it as hell. So if that was an opinion piece, if that was a anything type of piece, I don't know. I'm going into, well, you know, one of the things I'm trying to do for internships and stuff, if possible, is journalism. I don't know if I would do like video game journalism, but here, I might need to ult out here. Let's ult out here. Don't want to stand in front of that ult. Good backstep. We got our 3 though, so we're okay. A little bit off the mark. Baiting him here a little bit. Get the stun. Nice job. He did his speed buff. Sorry, let me get back to where I was at. One of the things, though, is every single like Smite-related article or anything I've seen has been so off the mark. It's crazy. I would never, ever, ever comment on like a game or something in terms of journalism if I had no idea what I was talking about. But, I mean, who knows, right? I say all that to say that they said the hardest god in Smite was Hell. Can you believe that? Hell? I mean, I guess she's kind of complicated, but like, you know, I play League some. Obviously, I posted a couple of videos on this channel. I'll probably post some more. But Hell is so much easier than like most League characters, and obviously I'm much, much better at Smite, and I've spent much, much more time in Smite. But Hell is easier than a lot of League characters, and more importantly, Hell is not even close to the hardest god in Smite. I mean, she's not top 10. I don't think she's top 15. You know, it's one of those things that it's like, when you look at how difficult a character is, it's really, really difficult to not just equate that to, like, bad. So, like, for example, if you play Hell in Smite, you're probably building full tank because that's the best way to play her, and you're playing her in support. And so if you're playing Hell in support functionally as a full tank, is she a difficult character? Not really. Meaning, like, can you do what the character is supposed to do effectively? And is it very difficult? Not as hard as other... It's not as hard as other characters are. Now, again, she's bad. Like, Hell is a garbage pick. I've said that, and I said that when I was doing my A to Z game for her, but that doesn't mean she's hard. She's just terrible, right? We're going to just have to ult out here, but that's why you have a reroll. You proxy, you do your thing, get the hell out. And see, we said hell, awesome. And we're all good. But yeah, the god sucks, but it doesn't mean the god's hard, right? Now, if you're playing Hell full damage and you're trying to play it in good lobbies and against pro players and stuff like that, would that be extremely difficult? Or just, again, this isn't, they're not saying what's the hardest god in competitive play, they're just saying the hardest god, period. Could Hell be very difficult in that context of like an evenly skilled lobby where you're a very good player and you're against very good players? Again, yes, but damage Hell is just like objectively bad, and the game's not designed for damage Hell to be good. Nor is it good. So it's like building, that's like saying, wow, you know, Scylla auto attack is really hard. Like, no, it's just bad, right? You're not playing to the strengths of the character. So I say all that to say, like, there is no way it's Hell. I think the hardest gods in Smite, Smite 1 and Smite 2 included, I think you'd have to put Thor in there somewhere. And again, when I say hardest, I don't necessarily mean hardest from a very base level. I mean from a, like, maximize squeezing the, you know, squeezing the water out of the stone. What characters have that highest skill cap? Because that's really what hardest is, in my opinion, right? You can have some barrier of entry, but it's also like the maximizing aspect. How hard is it to reach that point? I think Thor is absolutely there. I think Ullr is absolutely there. Those are two gods that come to mind right away. I do think that... So Amma's a character that's hard, not really all the time, because sometimes she's very OP and it doesn't really matter what you do, but she's hard in the sense of that when she's not like overpowered and she's just the character as she is, you have to have a lot of map understanding and lane understanding to play her well. So that's kind of like an extension of the character. Of course, I'm speaking all these in conquest terms. I don't know if that really makes her hard though. It's hard, but not in like a way specific to the character. So I wouldn't really say Amma, but Thor for sure, Ullr for sure. Who else? I think Ares is a hard pick, especially with like, again, normal players. Assuming you're like in an even lobby, he's quite a difficult character. I'm trying to think of some more, but let me know, guys, if you have any thoughts. I think Tiamat is one of the harder characters in the game. One of my favorite, though. She's about to come up. I'm super excited for that. Let's get out of here. By the way, you'll notice... Oh, I'm very dead. Good play. You'll notice I haven't talked about this game too much. There's a reason for that, but... RIP, we inted. Damn. It's okay. We go Abyssal Stone here. Really good item. And then actually have a recommended build from like a year ago or something. I'm just going to build. This is like an old-ish Thor build I went, I think. Or no, this is recommended. Never mind. I don't know. But yeah, so let me know what you guys think are like the hardest gods in Smite. Could be Smite 1, Smite 2. You know, Bari is one of those characters that I was thinking about, like, does she qualify? It's hard to say because she's still so strong that I think, like, from a kit perspective, is she a hard character? Kind of, but I don't know, man. Like, you don't have to know what you're doing to get a lot of good value out of her. I think Bari actually could be in that really hard character situation if she wasn't just like an ADC, and I'll try to explain it. So, Ullr's an ADC, but if you build Ullr and you play Ullr auto-attack centric, especially in Smite 2, it's just terrible. Like, the god doesn't function well at all. So if you're trying to play the character like in the way it was intended and the way it works best, you have to build him ability based, and as a result, it's a stance switcher with a ton of abilities, just like Tiamat is effectively, right? Now for Bari, like her abilities and stuff are pretty difficult actually to synchronize, I think, and to use efficiently, but you just build auto attack and it actually doesn't matter. You just end up being an auto attacker that has a convenient stun every once in a while, a very strong like Chang'e-esque 3 being your little dash thing, and I don't know, you're just kind of like OP. That's really all there is to it. Because you have an invincibility and you just kind of sit there and auto attack people, to be honest. So if they changed Bari, which they might in the future, and I actually hope they do, because I think it's kind of lame that Bari's just like a regular ADC more often than not, rather than being like a mage that's like full in scaling. I hope with an aspect they really kind of do like the soul iteration of her. Am I dead here? Get out of the Phoenix and we just ults. And we're okay. They're Anubis to rage quit. Again, this is Smite 1 in a nutshell, but you know, we're all good. And we'll just carry on. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting thing to think about for sure. What other characters might be in that? I think you can make an argument for Aladdin. It's a little bit tough with some of the recent changes that are, you know, that have just came out with like Aladdin Lamp now doing damage, with the fact that his lamp kind of like bypasses beads unless you pre-beads it, which is really stupid. I think if those changes happened and they didn't, you know, make this change recently where he does more damage on the front load of his abilities rather than the genie back hits, that you could make an argument for Aladdin. But I think all of those things just kind of dumb it down. I think you could have made an argument for old Giannis in Smite 1. Probably not, definitely not new Giannis, to be honest. But old Giannis, I think you could have done something with that. But let me know if you guys have any other thoughts, other characters you'd like to say. I think Osiris is very hard, honestly, at the high level. But some people would probably disagree with me on that. Who knows? But yeah, I think Merlin is up there. Usually stance switchers are going to be up there. But I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts. But regardless of like, I just stuttered so hard. Regardless of where I'd put those gods specifically, I'm putting every single god I just mentioned above Hell. Probably, right? Yeah, I think so. I would say so. Because Hell is a stance switcher, but she doesn't have the precision of aiming that you need for an Ullr or a Tiamat. Or even the positional thing, because again, she's not intended as a mage anymore. That's just not how you play the god. And it hasn't been for years. So maybe when Hell was like an actual mage, but the game was completely different from a pacing perspective last time Hell was an actual mage. So it's like, it's not really a one-to-one, you know? Like, for example, last time Hell was like an actual mage character, really, by design, that was decent. I'm not just saying, okay, you could have played her as a mage, because you still can, but it's like, playing Hell as a mage is like playing Baron as a mage. It's like, yeah, you're gonna feel like, excuse me, you're gonna feel like, damn, Baron's hard. It's like, nah, he just freaking sucks in that role, right? But yeah, I had that whole yap off just to say that this god is awesome, and he has a lot of skill expression, and that's cool, that's fun. I'm so happy about that. I think I commented this in one of my previous videos, but or commented about this in one of my previous videos. It might have been the Thana video. But yeah, somebody asked for another A to Z off roll, and heck no, guys. That shit is not happening. I'm sorry. I don't know what type of convincing I would need to do another A to Z except off roll. I'll do a Smite 2 A to Z eventually, but I'm not doing a Smite 2 A to Z until I feel like there's enough characters to make it feel whole, you know? And with this guy surrendering, I'm gonna make the executive order. I feel like I had a nice little discussion convo. This was a very chill, quiet game. I know I normally don't. That's funny. I know I normally don't post surrenders, but my philosophy here is that, guys, I have posted, and I know if you've been sticking with the channel, I have posted probably like 1,000 fucking Thor games in the months of March and April. I'm gonna let it be. So thank you guys so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Again, I'm sorry that this is like a shorter video, but I just think we've overdone it with Thor. I have so many damn Thor videos, and I promise you, by the time you see this Thor video, if you're like, man, I want to watch more Thor, there will be a Smite 2 Thor video in the near future. So we're gonna leave it as that. It was a fun, lasting little thing. I guess the damage was 12k from me, 9,000, a little bit low, but yeah, the Q happened. We farmed in solo. The Anubis rage quit. Smite 1 is here in full force. So thank you guys so much for watching as always. I really do appreciate it, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.